More than 137 million Americans are living in places with unhealthy levels of air pollution.
Yeah, not good news. That is 2.1 million more people breathing harmful air compared to just last year. These findings come from the 23rd annual State of the Air report from the American Lung Association. The report examines two dangerous air pollutants: fine particles and ozone. We're joined now by Paul Billings. He's the National Senior Vice President of Advocacy for the American Lung Association. Paul, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us to tell us about this disturbing news. How is this report compiled, and where does this data come from?
Well, thanks for having me. We compile this report by capturing the data that state, federal, and local air agencies capture with monitors. They report to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. We download that data, we analyze it, and we assign letter grades for each county based on that monitored air pollution data.
Well, Paul, and perhaps what is a sign of the times, inequality factors into this data, which revealed that there is a disparity in those living with unhealthy air in their communities. The report says people of color are 3.6 times more likely than white people to live in a county with 3 failing grades. So how are we to make sense of this? Explain that.
It's a very troubling finding. What we see in our report is, through systemic racism, decades of policies that, like redlining, that put people of color adjacent to factories and other big polluting sources, ports, busy roadways. In our report, we see the evidence of the burden of air pollution that's being imposed on communities of color. And so we're calling it out and saying you're 3.6 times more likely to live in a county with 3 failing grades, 61% more likely to live in a county with 1 failing grade. So our report really documents this trend, and we're calling on policymakers to say enough's enough. We got to change this.
So, Paul, what is to account for the trend? Why is the air so much worse this year than last year? What's going on?
Well, we think climate change is a big driver of pollution. You mentioned a wildfire that's in Arizona right now. In our report, we found 9 million more people living in counties that are suffering from these short-term daily spikes of particle pollution or soot. And Western cities dominate our list of most polluted cities because of the impact of climate change. The hot, dry conditions create conditions where wildfires can form, and you see the smoke, the soot in communities adjacent to those fires and hundreds of miles downwind.
I'm reminded of the early days of the pandemic when they released some pictures of Mother Nature and how clean that it got because people weren't out, polluting. So short of, trapping ourselves inside and not going outside, what can people do, individuals and communities in some of these hard-hit places? What can you and I do?
We were really optimistic that the air quality would improve, but actually we found like Los Angeles had its worst year in our report since our 2010 report, including the 2020 pandemic year. What we can do is we can call on our policymakers to enforce and implement the Clean Air Act. We need to transition quickly to zero-emission transportation by battery electric cars, trucks, buses, and clean up the electric grid, so clean, non-combustion, renewable electricity like solar and wind. We need to get away from combustion, not only for improving the quality of the air we breathe, but also reduce the carbon pollution that's driving climate change that's making air quality worse, amongst many other challenges that climate change poses to our planet.
Paul, quickly, it takes political will to do some of this stuff. Do you think that exists?
We've been very encouraged by the Biden administration's steadfast commitment to environmental justice and addressing health inequity, but we need Congress to act as well. So we need EPA to strengthen air quality standards and enforce the law. We need Congress to step up and make the investments. And that's going to be hard, but we're working for it.
You have to think about this issue before you cast your votes.
That's right. Paul Billings, thank you for the insight.
Thank you very much.